myself, meeting called to order at 7:05 p.m.
Okay, there's no one online? It'll only be Catherine.
Catherine does not appear to be.
Did we get the meeting minutes from,
I don't think so.
was it May?
I just,
Okay, so I'll ask Catherine for those. Next thing on the agenda is the treasurer's report.
basically our haven't changed. All of the other things.
So that $1,000, does that compile every year? Or
No.
do you just get
No,
at the
if
spend?
you don't use it by the 30th of June,
At 30
then it goes away,
Okay,
but then they
You
usually.
get a new $1,000
You get
first
a
of
new
July.
$1,000.
And the reason we get it every year is because we don't spend it.
is there like certain things we can spend it on?
Usually I thought just. Administrative. We could fetch it a little bit.
Joe has ordered the Revolutionary War markers for First Cemetery. It's got $900. I have supposed to ship it off 3 weeks ago. I don't know what they are. And we told him to use that account.
Oh,
to pay for him. So it's all set up that when he gets that, and the invoice, $900 will be used to pay for that.
So do we have to get that in by five days from now?
I don't think so. The order was placed.
Oh, so yeah, as long as it's.
Yeah, well, the
as long
order-
as- Yeah, okay. We might have to update that.
Right.
Next item on the agenda is welcoming John Kehoe. I don't think he's been, you're not John Kehoe, are you? Okay. He hasn't been officially made a new member. I think he'll be made a new member on July 1st or 2nd, the next select board meeting. So, we'll be welcoming him for the next meeting. We look forward to that. Updates from the Historical Commission mailbox. There were 3. We had a letter of memorandum from the select board regarding the closure of the Pine Grove Cemetery and the Bradder Cemetery. So that's, and the maintenance will be taken care of by the DPW. So we have that in writing, which is good now.
So that means that those. Well,
Mostly closed, I guess.
mostly,
The more new plots can be sold, but existing plots that have already been sold
Right.
can have merit. So, we also received a letter from the Cemetery Commission. In reviewing that letter, there was some incorrect information expressed in the letter. I reached out to Joe Layden to ask him if he provided corrections for those factually incorrect things, and he said that he verbally communicated those things to Cemetery Commission during a meeting and felt like that was sufficient, so hopefully that's sufficient going forward. Mainly that they were saying that they thought that the Historical Commission was gonna be taking care of the maintenance of the cemeteries, and I just wanted to make sure it was clear to them that that wasn't gonna be the case, and that the DPW would be taking care of the maintenance going forward. So he communicated that verbally to them, so. And the only other thing that we received was a Friends of the Upland State Forest newsletter, which we get every month, just outlining their activities.
what you should.
Oh, was that?
Yeah,
helpful?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I didn't do anything fancy. So,
That was good.
okay, good. I'll do that
Thank
from
you.
now on.
Yeah.
It's easier than bringing it here. Also, I can't really, during the meeting, so. All right, the next item on the agenda is warrant article to change demo bylaws from 10 days to 30 days. I don't know, I think we might need to have a discussion with Joe about this demo delay bylaw, 'cause it's gonna require a warrant article. I don't know I don't know if we just schedule, maybe the best thing to do is just to write an email to them and ask if we could have a quick meeting and discuss how we go about doing a warrant article. So I'll take that as an action.
Was there a deadline to get that in?
I think that I read somewhere in the last month that the 10 days or 15 days is a state law. So that's why I suggested you reach out to Joe for clarification, because it may not be something we're allowed to change. It may not be something that the local commission can, I don't know.
Okay,
Because I agree and support changing it from 10 days to 30 or 40 days, giving us time to schedule meetings, and I think it's the right thing. to do
Right,
research.
because if we just hear about it right after we've had a meeting. Okay, we'll have gone by, but.
exactly.
Well, it suggests you have to call an emergency meeting.
Okay, so I'll take that as an action item to reach out to Joe. Should I CC the whole commission on that email, or just the Excel? Okay, I'll do that. Okay, next item on the agenda was something I was thinking about, regarding public hearing. So, in regards to the Centennial property demolition request we had a month or two ago, I was kind of reading up on the, demolition delay process. And I realized it's kind of like a two-step process. So the first step, if we declare that, building is historically relevant, that's not for the demolition delay, that's for the public hearing. And then the second step is for actually approving or denying the demolition. So, I kind of thought that was, personally, I know everyone can vote the way they want to, but, my personal thought on that is maybe we err on the side of stating that the properties has a historical significance unless there's really no historical significance at all. That way we get to the step where we can kind of have the public hearing. And that way we can kind of express to the voters that, this is happening, because otherwise they don't have an opportunity to come and talk to us. And that kind of allows the commission to make a more informed decision about what the voters think, and we can factor that into our vote and just have more information for the vote. So that, I just put that on the agenda because I was thinking about it. Yeah, because yeah, and it was I felt like it was a misunderstanding on my part, because I was thinking that this initial vote was just for the demolition, but it's really not. It's kind of deceiving. You're voting for whether it's historical, but that has a consequence. So I was just kind of thinking about that a little bit. That's that. I just wanted to talk about that. The next item on the agenda is the State Ethics Commission request. So today I filed the Ethics Commission paperwork with Denise, and it just discloses that I'm on the Historical Commission. I'm also on the 140 Arts 501c3. And it also confirms that it's not really a conflict of interest in regards to the former church, me discussing the purposing of the church in this committee and also the 140 Arts Committee. That's kind of what Joe was asking about, if that was a conflict of interest. So That's been filed. The only thing that would be a conflict of interest is if I accept monetary payment from the 140 Arts Fund. So I have to be careful. I wasn't planning on doing that anyways. Just getting some of monetary compensation and stuff. That wasn't really a concern, but now we know. So the next item on the agenda is the update on the memorandum for the Pine Grove and Bradish Cemetery closure. We kind of already discussed that a little bit. I don't know if Ed, you had any further comments on that at all, or?
Somebody else on that letter, but I don't know. Based on my recent presentation to the CPC and the questions that I got, not from the CPC, but from a couple of members of the cemetery. And Jim was down. I think it's a protest letter. And I think the right thing to do, what you did, is ask Joe to respond, not us to find it being a missing. Yeah. We just want cemeteries preserved as historical entities. If you want to do a burial, fine, do a burial. But let's not put any more modern stones or anything in either one of those cemeteries, changing the entire nature. You know, and then perhaps the burial wasn't Pine Grove, but it had to be 70, 80, 90 years ago. Bradish Cemetery is in the early 1960s. And the most recent burial prior to that was in the 1890s. So even the 1960 burials was kind of absurd. So 3 lots were sold at Pine last year. And 1 or 2 cremation burials took place, and they put a small, about that high granite monument, which isn't completely out of place, but you know, it certainly doesn't fit with the slate stones that are in that cemetery. And all our intent was to prevent the sale of any future lots, primarily because there are no lot maps. Somebody may claim there are, but there are no lot maps showing where anybody is buried. Where you know where anybody's buried in either of those cemeteries because it's had some.
Oh, okay.
That's it. It's not documented. There's no hand-drawn documents that have survived. There's no hand-drawn documents prior to 1900 to late. So somebody had something once upon a time. So all we were trying to do was prevent changes to the nature of those cemeteries. And I said, my feeling is there's no lot layouts for either of those cemeteries to allow a cemetery commission to go sell a lot. Now, maybe it's not our place, which it probably isn't, but sell a lot if you don't know what's under the ground and where it's. Right. Well, the fact that the First Cemetery, which isn't completely off the subject, but there are dozens and dozens of burials with no headstones. There are field stones, rocks, and everything else sticking up that definitely appear to have been a burial. Somebody put on rocks. Here it is. There are some there that appear to be burials. So how do we know this? And Bradish has the same situation as many field stones, not headstones, not carved stones, but field stones, identifying the location. So that's their issue. But I think the most important thing out of all of this was they no longer have the authority to conduct a burial. It's all under the DPW. And that's why we have the agreement from the select board and the DPW, not from the cemetery. So the position is to allow Joe to respond to the situation and we stay out of it so we don't get into a commission to commission battle.
Okay. So do you think I should push Joe to write a letter, or do you think he kind of responded and said he really communicated with it? Do you think that's enough, or does that warrant an official letter? Just let him deal with it. Okay.
It was presented to us as an open letter. It's good. Open letter has been openly responded to.
The next item on the agenda is the first floor of the Racine building being used by the Historical Society for the museum. I spoke to Linda a little bit about the progress, and I think they're kind of on hold at this point, and they're just waiting for some additional feedback from the select board about what. Do you have some more additional information? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we're just on hold. She's waiting for.
What's that item on the agenda? Read that.
That is first floor of Racine building will be used for the Historical Society Museum. It would be helpful if I emailed you the agenda. So you
I could have pulled
you
it
can
up.
just copy.
It's a good one.
I'll clean it up.
I have a hard copy.
Okay.
Oh, the next item on the agenda is the Dodson Flinker Historic Properties request from a woman from Dodson and Flinker named Helena. That is in regards to the newly initiated West Upton visioning process, which started on Monday night this week. So Helena had reached out to the Historical Commission and asked for information on historic properties in the West Upton area. They just provided us with a map during the visioning process of what they consider to be West Upton. So I asked Helena to provide us with that map so that we can kind of take the map and highlight the different historic homes that are in that vicinity. And then below the map, I was thinking we just take snapshots of every documented property that's in the historic district that was documented back in the 90s, and just send that to them. And then I think we would make the argument that these, because I think the reason why we're doing this is they're looking to put up business zoning overlay district around certain areas within West Upton, which is what they did in the center of town here for the visioning process 6 years ago for the center of Upton. So I think the request would be, these are the historic homes, so please don't put business zoning overlay district over these homes because it's incentivize the demolition of the historic properties in the historic districts. So that was kind of my. Eventually.
They want to put a sidewalk. Like that.
Yeah, they're talking about that. Yes. Yeah. No, sidewalk.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, very dangerous. Like high school kids.
Yeah.
Kids use that a lot.
Yeah.
Leave school.
The fence, cemetery.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the Taft Street demo request, 846 Elijah Fisk House. I think you have some guests to discuss that.
I'm doing design work for Clifford and Kathy Young.
Very wonderful.
Property. Project introduced. Use.
Which lines?
Gross. GROSD. So, Clifford and Kathy, this is a existing condition site plan here. This is the 1848. Right.
Okay. Okay.
This.
This was up.
Yeah. much newer addition. They want to do is they want to enlarge this addition, this is that, and then block foundation, crawl space, mold, whatever. So what we want to do is enlarge that. So this is the existing addition plan. You can see you've got a, it's only 12 feet. It's very narrow. They have a very small kitchen here.
Okay.
And you want to enlarge that. So this is the footprint that, and then this is schematic. So we might change the basic. This is, they're showing what we want to do. Now, obviously, if you look at this plan, everything is in this front setback. Yeah, but two folks for. What we thought we would do is one to expand this area. Take that down. Here's what initial concept might look like. See, all the detailing would match the house.
So it's really not too much different of a look from what
Like
it is.
that.
Not too much, but it's going to be bigger. You probably can see that original photograph. This is 12 feet, this is 20 feet. So it's gonna be higher. But all of this detailing will match this kitchen. Last page shows preliminary. No promise of exactly inside. Basically, the footprint. So what that would allow them to do is place that foundation, put in a modern foundation, modern energy, construction here to make it energy. Enlarge the kitchens, have a real. So that's the basic concept for the proposal.
Yeah, which is wonderful, yeah, because it'll essentially remain the same look and feel.
What's the red dot?
Oh, just a scope. So the original house would stay, this part of the main, that's new construction, except
Okay, and now was this wing part of the original house, or was this an addition at some point?
which one?
It's the one that we're gonna be demolishing.
This one. Do you know what the age of that addition, this one here?
The one we're replacing was told originally built in post World War II. Late
Okay,
40s,
so it's not even that old.
That's the age of the house?
1846. 1846.
So this, if you go back to the existing condition, this is the original. This structure over here is got poured concrete foundation, modern construction. And this was that, so this was here, this, and then they had it.
Okay.
This is 40,
1846.
and then this is later, post World War II.
Right. Late 1940s, and then wing at the other end was early 1990s.
Okay,
So 1, 2, 3, something, 1, 2, 3.
okay,
We've owned the property since
we have, okay,
92 years.
That's kind of like the last page shows you basically.
very professional presentation, thank you very much.
Yes.
Very thoughtfully done to keep it being the original house. That's basically what
You either
you're all
do it,
about.
you either do it to make it look like that, or make it still completely different. We're not gonna do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's very close to the road, it needs to have the same, feel.
Sure.
Right, right.
And
You'll
you know,
be so
all of
happy
these-
with a nice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, I was presenting to, Hingham Road Commission, which 9 months.
I was going to say, they're very picky.
Very picky, and it was a building even older than that. They wanted to put a wing on it, two-car garage, whatever. My speech, these buildings won't survive unless we make them modernized, so they family.
Right, okay.
Right, so this building is certainly,
The eye appeal to the. What it is right now. If anything, it's even nicer.
it should look like, you know, it shouldn't look like an addition, it should look like.
Right,
so,
right.
All the detailing,
I
paneling and
mean,
everything
I-
that's
the
on the original building
windows
would
will
be.
Match the rest of the
Yeah,
building.
and as I said, this 80s truss here, this may change, I've already, you might have another window, but it will look like.
So the wing on the right, you're requesting it to be demolished, reflecting the new structure. And the wing on the right was built approximately
Say that again.
in the seventies.
Late 40s, right after World War II,
So the wing on the left was much later.
1991-ish, somewhere around there.
It's one of the-
And you can see it's a port foundation, typical, it's platform, western platform framing.
The central structure is a granite block.
Yes, it's just got a little crawl space. There's no cellar or foundation. It's just granite blocks around the space again. That makes sense.
I personally think your design proposal is fabulous.
Thank you.
In the style of the original house and in the style of what we're trying to achieve here. So,
Yeah, we appreciate you keeping it the same style. I think that's what
That's our intent. It's a great place, great house.
yeah, it looks like a beautiful house, yeah.
And they have beautiful views to the rear. Whole area here is gorgeous. Windows out
And
there.
this was a tapped house originally.
Elijah Task,
Yeah.
Elijah Fisk.
Oh, okay.
Elijah Fisk Junior. And I researched that, it's in the rolls here in town. Some history,
Yeah, I live off of Fisk Ave, so. Prominent member.
and yeah, that building.
Yeah. Great. Well, this is wonderful. Thank you so much for presenting it.
Give you a lot of credit for, doing such a nice job. Good luck to you. Or I'll come and drive by.
So what's the next step? We need to then present our final to building department for special permit, go through CBA.
I think so. Yeah.
You can inform the building department that we heard this.
Yeah, if they have any questions, you can tell them that we approve the design. And if they need further confirmation, they can reach out and we can provide them.
Because I had emailed this plan to, we had some controversy with the survey, and I finally emailed this building department. Give me a written statement.
Okay, sure.
They
So
said,
you
yes,
need a vote.
it needs a special.
we need to vote for the demolition and new addition. And then you will need to send an email to the building inspector
Okay.
inviting them to have voted to approve it, which covers your question.
Thank you.
Okay,
That's
so
what I asked for.
we'll make a motion to,
Make a motion to, the demolition request of the right wing of 38 Taft Street. Design that was submitted to us, showing the new wing that will be added. Do I have a second?
Second.
all those in favor?
Any further discussion? Anybody else?
No. Further discussion?
No,
Right?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Good. Carries unanimous.
right, thank you very much.
Can I get your names for the?
Sure. You need these copies for the next round.
You know what? It's You know, they're really nice. Box. And really cool. If you don't want them,
And Kathleen,
it's
do it that way.
So I emailed the building inspector.
Yes. I have driven by that house for years and admired it every time I drove by.
That's great.
It's almost as nice as my house.
So do we get new historical signs?
Do you have
Are
a,
you guys gonna put new historical signs?
it,
does that work?
that was a part of the historical society. Right, Russ?
I do too.
Yeah.
I know they aren't doing it anymore. Talking about it the other day, yeah.
You'll have to put an arrow,
Mine is all
not
one.
including this wing.
Well, this,
If
you
you're
know, there's a,
handy, you
there's a
want to
book
make the new
about how
one,
buildings
you can.
are.
We can,
And it's about how historical buildings change over time.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're so pleased that you're keeping the structure of the original building. Because we have too many requests. We want to tear it down, we want to tear it down. Why? Because it's not quite the right place. We want to build four more houses.
It's the character. And the fact that it's close to the road in the setback is, you know, that's how they made them. They were close to the road. You didn't want to be back. You wanted to see people.
I am just trying to smell like that.
The automobile hadn't even been thought of.
Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good luck. When's the project expected to be done?
By Christmas.
Next week? By Christmas, hopefully? All right, you heard that. By Christmas, hopefully.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Nice evening.
Now, I thought you started that with 45 buildings. I got lost in the.
Did I do that?
No.
Is that what I said?
No, you should have.
Yeah, oh, I did, okay. That's next, yeah, that's the next one.
Okay. Where's that? Right across from the gas station.
Yes,
Is it part of the?
up the road,
Oh, it's up the little dirt road there?
yeah, I took
On the
pictures.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, Reed and Friends.
Is that where Scott?
No,
Remember
we're, insurance.
Oh, okay. Five notes.
45 Milford Street, so it's up, you have to drive up that driveway a little bit to see your
Oh,
house.
okay.
This.
There's two buildings.
Have been paged.
Pages, yeah.
Oh, the Page, because he owned the lumber yard, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
all about the
okay.
page land.
Yeah.
Okay.
Page. Furniture maker.
Read some books.
Okay, so as far as this 45 Milford Street demo request, no occupants have shown up to demonstrate, so I guess we'll just pass over this
That was my proposal last month.
one. Okay,
They have no desire to show up at the meeting and say, well, but then we'll pass over, wait for next month.
and with that being said, because we have this 10-day restriction, do I just email the building inspector and say, hey, nobody showed up, so we passed over it, and until they show up, we can't do anything?
You should determine whether it's historically significant.
Well, it's 75 years old, so by definition, I guess it is historically significant. So,
Well, it doesn't mean it's historic.
I was thought it was a lot older.
What do we know about the year of construction?
1950. So it's 75 years.
Right on the precipice of 75.
Yep.
And the picture that I saw in email looked absolutely awful.
Yeah, but last year I drove up that road just randomly and it looked like a normal house back then. So they have initiated the demolition and stripped off the siding of the house. So that's why it looks horrible.
So things.
It has
Right.
brand new windows. in it. Yeah, yeah. You want to see the picture though? Okay.
What else is suggested? My suggestion last month was, you know, we want to show up at the meeting, why should we vote?
Yeah, right. And I emailed John H.U. and asked him to request that they show up, and he didn't email me back or anything, so. I'll leave it at that.
Just be determined it's historically significant.
Well, I think,
And then it could, and it have to show up at a meeting.
yeah, well, the historical significance thing, I think we need to be careful about because
Yeah.
we want to have, we have to have the hearing, yeah, so at least we.
Public hearing within 10 days.
Yeah,
Public hearing, nobody shows up.
Yep.
In the clear. Sorry.
So who owns this property?
I don't know if I want to say, do we want to say?
I can hope to. What's his name?
But yeah. There's more of this. I don't know if we want to get into it.
His name.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
I think we need more understanding and clarification on the whole demo delay process. Like I said, I've been watching this listserv email. That's a function of the Mass Historic Commission, I think. And over the last month, there have been dozens of emails going back and forth about the demo process. Some congresswomen submitted a language revision proposal to the state to change the language of the demo delay to standardize it at 12 months. And dozens of people popped up in various historical commissions suggesting that it would significantly weaken the local laws, the local ordinances on the demolition delay process. For instance, there are a couple dozen towns that have a 24-month delay. There are some that have an 18-month delay. And if this would be passed to standardize it at 12 months, they would lose all the work they did.
Right, yeah.
To try and strengthen the law, and there were some other issues. But I don't completely understand enough of it. I didn't have time to get into it with everything else I got going on to study it. So we had proposed changing the 10-day, which I think I saw as a 15-day public hearing notice after we're notified by the building department of a request for a demolition approval, demolition permit. We have proposed or discussed increasing that to 30 days, 45 days, or something greater than 10 days. Like I said, some of the language I saw going back and forth, I think I saw one that said there was a state law that says it's 10 days to public hearing. So Joe may say, no, it's not something we can change locally. It's a state. Or he may say, no, we can change it to, we create a warrant article and get the town to vote on it in November and change it to 30 days to 45 days. Personal feelings, if we have the authority to impose a 12-month demo delay, what's 30 or 45 days from the date of request for demolition? If 70% of them will approve anyways.
Right.
What's another month?
Yeah, right.
I think that needs to be a discussion with Joe to see what he knows and can find out about. The other piece that we talked about again last month, and I said to you, was Nobody wants to show up. They want a demo permit. They've been told it's in the hands of the historic commission. And there's nobody here. So why should we vote on anything?
Right, exactly.
We have enough information collected that we know what this house is and what its condition is and whether it's anything we should say. I think to Russ's point, we probably shouldn't even discuss it. Because there's nobody here.
Right.
I don't know if my personal goal is to say the building was built after World War II. That's only my opinion. But I say, let's pass over.
Let's do that. May as well.
And you could, in that same email to, can't remember the new guy's name, John. Building,
John Eacher? Yeah,
yeah, in the same email telling him about 38 Taft Street is that we passed over 45 Milton Street demo permit request because there was no one in attendance to discuss it.
Okay.
And we should probably get on Joe's calendar to discuss the background of all this, so we know what our understanding is.
okay. Yeah, so maybe we can set up a meeting with them and have a chit chat. Okay, the next item on the agenda, First Cemetery updates.
Yeah. Oh, Catherine's not here, so. All right, so. First Cemetery. Okay, so in the last month, Joan and I and Russ went before the CPC. Russ is a member of the CPC, so got no choice but to be there. And we presented the overall plan for First Cemetery, which I had shared with you guys last month. The presentation went over very well.
Very good job.
According to Mike and according to Russ afterwards. Mike sent me the application form, which I filled out 2 days ago and sent back to him, asking him if it looked okay. He responded that looks great. And that, do I want to be at next Monday's meeting or an August meeting? I said, why do I need to be at another meeting? I thought it was going to public hearing in the fall. He said he always likes to follow up with a second in case people have questions. So I'll be there Monday night. If you're available, Joan or Russ, Monday night, you'll probably be there anyways.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Just to see if there are any questions. So the application's been submitted. I assume 7 o'clock.
Downstairs.
So, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe, we got together on Saturday at the cemetery. We had a couple of volunteers. We had Lars Paulson and we had Jay, something was name, I forget. We showed up. We had the couple from Bellingham that called themselves the Gravestone Guardians. We reset 2 or 3 stones. Reset means we dug them out, we straightened them up, upright and plumb and everything, and put gravel and stone in and packed them in. Make sure they were at the right height. I have cleaned about 80% of the stones in the cemetery. All the moss and lichens and everything else, it's looking much, much better. We moved 1 wood stone from the upper cemetery to the lower cemetery. We put Margaret Wood back together. Her headstone was way down in the lower cemetery, and her footstone was in a row of stones up in the upper cemetery, which somebody had to move a long time ago. And the good news is we repaired 4 stones. 2 of them, which we didn't think could be repaired, they have been bonded back together. 3 of the 4 have been reset. The 4th one came out of a keyway, which, not that I have done much of this in my career, because I have never heard of and never seen before. It's a flat slate stone in the ground about that deep, and it has a key slot cut in it for the headstone to sit in. And I haven't had a chance to see if I can locate some lime border. I don't know if any of the hardware stores around here sell it. It needs to be reset back into the key away from lime border. So it may wait until that couple is back from going upstate New York for a week or two. So 4 stones have been repaired. Looked at 2 more that we want to try and repair, and then maybe a couple more beyond that. Every stone that we repair is going to reduce the cost of the restoration by $3,500.
The stone.
So I talked to Tom Delfonte last week at Lightensville Monument, and I asked him, which we didn't really discuss in the meetings I had before, whether he was capable, whether he was interested in the project. And he said, yeah, I apologize. I've been absolutely out straight. This is his busiest time of year with regular monuments. And he's absolutely interested in supporting the project. So that's good news. I asked if he was able to replicate in any way the design on the old stones. So you've got the script that says in memory of, John Smith, who died yesterday. You've got the floral designs, you've got the urns and the willow trees and everything on a lot of the stones. And he said he thinks that Barry, Vermont, can etch that on. Oh, and I said, it's original discussions were to carve these stones until we found out that that's god awful expensive. They told me you're looking at 10 to 20,000 a stone if you want to carve. And probably closer to the 20 for most of those stones. But that a stone that clearly looks like it's a replica, that fits in with the cemetery, as inexpensive as I think would be the goal. So if he can provide some of the stones at significantly less than the $4,000 mark we have right now, so much the better. If money were left from the CPC monies, if that winds up getting approved this fall, we could venture over to Bradish with some of the leftover money and do a little work over there. Again, the focus is still one cemetery at a time. Get the restoration. So we have, and I don't know if I had them at the last meeting, we have a hard quote for tree removal for 16 trees and 11 stumps of 18.5. We have a hard quote for installing a gate, a little bit nicer than the one at Heritage Park, not much, similar to the one. I think $1,750. We have a hard quote from Signs Plus in Milford for a 4-foot by 6-foot signboard, $750. And in the proposal is to plant 4 to 8 flowering trees. I think I put 5,000 in for that. Would that be a Western Nursery or Lowe's or something? Some decent dogwoods or something that will flower in the May-June timeframe. And then grading after the trees are removed, some level of grading, leveling, which could be challenging because there's a lot of stones in there. I mean, rocks. You don't want to wind up paying someone to dig rock after rock, just a kind of grade. So it can be maintained and it's audible. So those quotes would be yet to be looked for after the money gets approved, probably next year. The documentation is 85–90% done. Placing a lot of the photos I put in the book I created with photos after the stones have been cleaned and photos taken at the right time of day so you can read them, which is more challenging than I had anticipated. Joan was going to look into leading the 2 or 3 page history that will go at the front of the book, what we know about the creation of the cemetery. We added 100-ish burials that we believe are in that cemetery unmarked. People that died in Upton from 1735 to 1800 that aren't in any cemetery identified. So we took Bradish and Warren's out, which we believe would have been in Bradish Cemetery. So we've added that to the book, and we have a 1-generation genealogy of everyone. Catherine is working on the 10 or 12 that I couldn't readily solve. Trying to figure out where they came from their parents. So it's slowly progressing, but no hurry. If the cemetery is not going to be done until next summer, then we'll have it all pulled together at the same time.
And I found another stone
And Joan found 2 stones. We found Peter Holbrook under
There, that's it.
fountains, and we found one behind David White's stone. Buried. I have no idea whose stone it is because the top is completely gone, but it's a slate stone and it has the letter B in it.
What's-
The whole thing was leaning
Yeah.
almost like that. 3 or 4
so the
inches.
top part of it. Yeah, the-
Disappeared a long time ago.
Told that if you come in. It was fun.
So, yeah, so we found stuff that wasn't found by Daniel Fay in the 60s, and we found stuff that wasn't found by whoever built the cemetery in the 1903-ish time. When the town records were created, so. Cool. We found one at the Historic Society in the attic that has a clearly inscribed J. New SC, Stone Tap, and we knew there was some James
I
New.
took a rubbing of that.
Yeah, I saw it on the constructed desk.
Rubbings?
I made a rubbing of
Oh,
the description.
We had one script, and the script is after the name of the person and when they died, but it's a dozen stones in the first cemetery that have a script of them. It says, you know, like, here I lie, the soul of me, so come join me. And we had 2 left. John actually took a piece of paper and with a pencil over one, and we were able to read it from the pencil. We couldn't read it from the stone. There's still 2 or 3 more in there. Yeah. So, but the weather's been too hot. And at the CPC meeting, right after I finished with my presentation, Cemetery Commission made a presentation. Had a stack of 8.5 by 11 white pieces of paper printed. It was about 2 inches thick. And it was, we have 400 stones in Bradish, Pine Grove, and Lakeview that are dirty, leaning, or broken. We need someone to do something about it. Mike Pinko says, well, what's your plan? We don't have a plan, but we need something to do something about it. How much money? Well, don't know, but maybe $200,000 to $400,000. It went exactly like that. We have no plan, but we have a pile of broken, and I know what you want. Everyone. It's exciting to know where to find them. Mike says, do you have any volunteers? Volunteers ready? I don't know when that's gonna go and whether that will hinge on our effort to get our plan.
it sounded pretty nice in the email about your. Yeah. Long way. Well, I wanted to give that a second to think.
I can do this at home because I'm not just here.
Next item on the agenda would be social media. Next item on the agenda is Upton's 300th
So we
anniversary.
jump to the next one. Didn't Catherine maybe put something on the Facebook about first cemetery restoration for volunteers?
Yes. Something either, I think,
Somebody said something.
I think. Last month. I remember seeing that. Most of it.
Because it's interesting, we got 2 volunteers, 3 volunteers last month, and we had like 6 of us there. That would be more than enough. You showed up, right? Any more than that? You just can't manage it, direct traffic and make sure nothing gets damaged.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
more question about the cemetery.
I think we should.
Wait,
No, I think we should, because the more people that are aware of it, better chance we have in November of getting them to approve the funding request.
okay,
So. Jim?
no. Struggle. Anyway, yeah,
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea, but I just, to go back to our Facebook thing, I think that after the one experience, I don't want a crowd of people showing up trying to do something.
Right.
So it wouldn't be helpful, but I think the goal was to find 2 or 3 people that are really interested in doing it for us for the next year or 2.
That J guy seemed pretty good there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So unfortunately. Now to the clean
Wonder should we, because the historical society comes out with a newsletter.
I think they're gonna go for it.
Should we
So
steal
this might be the ones.
tidbits out of that thing and put it on our social media or on, just so we have updates on our page?
Tidbits from here.
Yeah, they always got like a little story or something. Just to keep context. Also maybe some.
Yeah, they are,
Oh, yeah.
they are. Who's going to do?
The next item on the agenda.
One other thought, to that. Russ showed me the picture this morning. Oh. As a member of the CPC, he got approval to go purchase a sign that has been added to the sign in front of the Grange, stating that it was restored with funds from CPC.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about that.
It's got a picture here, if you can find it, passed around.
Oh, so you weren't talking about the sign that's there right now? Oh, yeah, that's the sign that's there now.
Yeah, but he had it a white one across the top.
Is that going to stay there?
The green thing.
It doesn't seem like anybody's gonna hurt to take it down.
No.
Yeah, it does. Sure.
You see Alex and Tom Road.
Oh, okay. What other news, oh, actually, I got some. Well, it's the 300th anniversary. We lost,
Down to 10 years.
she was a key member of.
Yeah, she was. We have a new person coming up.
Yes. Excited.
Around for that.
Yeah.
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 I'm planning on being here, but, you know.
Never know.
10 years.
Oh. Which one? Got a couple.
Don't you remember his big parade for his birthday that day? Also the birthday of the army, right?
Yeah. You can burn flags. Flags,
That was that the day of flag burning?
yeah, flag, we burn flags.
Went to that one year. It was very impressive.
Where do you do that on?
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
Okay.
quite a fire too. It was a big fire.
It was?
I was there last.
oh, okay. Some scouts, there were some scouts there last year. Weather was kind of rainy.
Collect them over the years.
There's a depository at the post office,
Oh, really?
and there's one down at the VFW. Yeah,
I got a worn out one, I should.
and next time you're in the post office. So it was right walk in the door, it's right there in front of you.
Oh, really? Oh.
Where you make, just below the, where you mail, put your mail in.
Well, we'll do topics not reasonably anticipated. Anybody have anything to bring up?
Yes.
Yes,
Is it open?
I was gonna bring it.
Is it open?
Yes, I
It
drove
is
by
open.
today. Well,
The gate is
that's,
open.
it's a good question. I drove by today and the gate was open, so I'm assuming it's open unless there was like DPW in there doing something. Looked open to me.
Dennis told me it is reopening. I don't recall it told me a date, whether it was yesterday, tomorrow, next week, last week, but it is reopening. And I think they were going to add some instructions for vehicles visiting, to inspect their cars before leaving the property for the building. But they're not transporting it someplace else.
Little side note. Your family. State. Hold up. Stopped in the parking lot. We got out of the car. What's that noise? The cicadas, the
Oh, yeah.
17-year cicadas had just. It was deafening. It was so loud. I couldn't believe it. And people walked into the cars and they were everything. I love that.
Is that an invasive species?
Well, they're not too invasive. Because I only get one. Eat
Cicadas on a basis.
short period of time.
They appear every 17 years, but they're saying with climate change, they may drop to every 13. Up for 2 or 3 weeks while they lay eggs. Wait another 17 years.
That's one.
Yeah.
Good eye.
The noise it makes. Why didn't we? So I was impressed.
Not for this meeting. Okay. Save it. Okay, next meeting, I had on my thing July 23rd. Is that a good date?
That's a Wednesday.
Yeah. It looks like the last, second to last meeting.
Only question I would raise is, do we want to skip one meeting for the summer?
Yeah, we could do that. I'll go by vacations.
The only concern I have is the demo. But then,
Oh,
skip August.
skip August.
Skip the
Yeah. $2 from that. Summer vacation. So do you want to meet in July on the 23rd? That works for you, Russ? July 23rd?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. Great. Well, thanks everyone for coming out tonight.
We'll adjourn the meeting.
Second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Nay.